If you want to be successful, you must take control of your finances as soon as you can. I'll soon be 30, and I have many friends and colleagues that have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars during their 20s because they didn't know what to do with their money. And the reality is that 88% of adults believe they were not ready to handle money in the real world. So if you feel like you don't know what to do, you don't know how to manage your money, you're not alone. And in this video we'll see together which are the goals that you have to set yourself so that you will be way ahead than everybody else. And this will let you approach your 30s with a great financial stability. So first thing first, you have to eliminate the enemy that will potentially ruin your life. Because if you don't kill it as soon as you can, you will probably face it for your whole life. And it is not a nice foe, as it represents the biggest financial struggle for 77% of the people. Because yes, I'm talking about debt, and you definitely have to avoid it as much as you can. Because basically debt means that you will have to pay interest, and this will only increase your expenses, and I'm sure you don't want that. And so during your 20s there are three main categories of debt, and those are student loans, credit cards, and house. So starting with the first one, it's actually very common in many countries like the US, where the university system is very expensive. Just imagine that there you have to pay several tens of thousands of dollars every year to study at the university. And clearly not everybody can afford it, and so that's why students get loans to be able to afford the university. But this also means that as soon as you start working, your first priority has to be to pay off this debt, because otherwise you will bring it with you and its interest together for 10 or 15 years. Secondly, there are credit cards. And yes, credit cards can be very practical because they can really save you in emergency situations. But if you're not careful, if you don't use them well, they will just ruin you. This is because they will get you in debt, and debt means paying interest. And just saying, the average interest at the moment for a credit card debt is of 24%. So basically, if you're carrying on your credit card debt, you're paying your stuff 24% more. Do you want that? I don't think so. And then house. But why did I put house? Sure, buying a house can be a great achievement. But are your 20s the best moment to buy a house? Because in your 20s, you will probably not have the financial position to buy the house that you want. And this means that you will get in debt to buy a house that is not the one that you actually want. Which also means that you will probably have to sell it in the future because maybe you want a bigger one or you want a house in another place. And so during your 20s, when you're building your financial life, if you buy a house, you will just be putting all of the money in this house that you don't really want, instead of getting a financial solidity that will be with you for the rest of your life. So instead of buying, just rent an apartment during your 20s, so that you will be able to build this financial solidity that will allow you to buy the house you want during your 30s. Secondly, we have a point that will be vital at every moment of your life. Just a couple of weeks ago, I had a colleague that had to pay for an unexpected medical emergency, and he had to pay a lot of money for it. And this put him in a position where he had to ask his friends and family for money because he didn't have anything anymore. He couldn't even eat. And this could actually happen to anyone, because if you don't have an emergency fund and you will have to pay for a car accident or a medical emergency, this is the money that you will have to use, not the money that you earn every month that you use to live. And this is why during your 20s your second priority is to build an emergency fund that has to cover at least 3 months of life expenses. But it would be better actually to have a 6-month emergency fund. And having that means that whatever will happen, you will be able to get out of a difficult situation unscathed. When I was at the high school, I decided I wanted to study mechanical engineering because I loved cars and I wanted to work at Ferrari. I mean, it looked amazing to me and I was really sure that this is what I wanted. But then I realized I was wrong, because doing this type of job was as far as it could from the lifestyle I wanted. And this is why I changed everything and I started doing what I loved, which is actually also something that allows me to live as I want, which by the way is finance, and is also why now I am here making videos on YouTube. So if you find my videos helpful and you want to support me, just hit the subscribe button. But coming back to the topic, this is something critical that you have to do during your 20s, and it is to discover, to understand what you want to do with your life. What is the lifestyle that you will have in the future? Because if you want to just chill in the countryside is a thing, but if you want to become a manager, or also if you want to become a normal employee in a company, everything changes. There are a lot of things that you don't know when you start during your 20s, and you have to discover them. Because it is at this point in life that you give the direction, that you take the direction that you want to have for your future. Especially because it is much easier. Because imagine yourself when you're 35, you have a family, 2 kids, and a fixed position in a good company. It will be much more difficult to change everything to achieve what you really want. So really take these years to understand what you want with your life, because also this will have a clear and immense impact on your finances. So now, during your 20s, you normally don't have a lot of money. It is the period of your life when you start working and earning your first salaries. And because of that, it is also often the moment where you struggle the most with your money. You struggle to find the money to pay the rent, to go out with your friends, or just do what you want. But over the years, your salary is likely to increase, and so you will start to get more comfortable with your money, and you will be less attentive at every penny you spend. And this is why your 20s are the best moment to understand how your money works, how much goes in, how much goes out. Having a clear understanding of how your finances work is vital if you want to have more money and if you don't want to struggle with your life expenses. This is why understanding how to make a simple budget every month, knowing in which macro categories you use the money you earn, will make so much easier to reach the end of the month without stress. And as I said, you don't have to make a complex budget, but a simple one. You just need to have 3 or 4 categories so that you can track your money. And just doing that, it will make a huge difference. And so if you want to know more about how to do that, I've actually made a video that explains it more in detail, and you can find it here. So the next thing you must achieve is to have your own $100,000 plan. I've heard so many times people saying, oh, I want $100,000. Oh, I want $1 million. And every time I ask them, how do you want to do that? And the answers are almost always, I don't know, but I will figure it out, or oh, I'll just try to grow in my career. And I'm sorry, this is not a plan, that's just hope. And without a plan, you're not taking control of your finances. You are just waiting for things to happen, hoping that they will go in your favor. And well, do you really think that the world by itself will give you what you want? I don't think so. And this is why all of us must have a plan that will allow us to make our first $100,000 and have the money that we would like to have. So understand how much money you would like to have and see if what you're doing now will actually lead you to this objective. Because I mean, if you are, for example, a teacher that earns $40,000 to $50,000 per year, and you say, I want to have $1 million in the next 10 years, well, you're not gonna make it. You have to do something else, you have to change something. You can maybe start investing, having a side hustle, or completely changing your career. But doing this simple analysis will tell you, am I in the right direction or not? So basically, whatever financial milestone you have, whether it is $100,000, $1 million, or even $10,000, develop a plan for it. So don't wait for things to happen, make them happen. And your 20s are the best moment to do it, because it is the moment when you set the direction of your life. Okay, now there is my favorite goal, because it can seem simple, it might seem basic, but this simple thing completely changed my life and made me who I am now. And if you're watching this video, it means that you already are in the good direction, because it means you understand the importance of personal finance. But that's not enough, because the thing you have to do is to talk more about finance. Because nowadays, finance is like a taboo. You can't share your salary because it's impolite, you can't ask people about their expenses or also their salary and their financial situation. But that's completely wrong. If you want to improve your finances, if you want to have more money, this is the best way to start. So really start talking with your family, with your friends and colleagues about finance, about their money, because this will let you learn a lot. You will see the experience of other people, how they did it, how they faced difficult situation, and also what would you do if you had to face such a similar situation. There's tons to learn about finance, about personal finance, and having the help of other people, it's the best thing to do. And obviously the best moment to start doing that is during your 20s, because it is the moment when you need personal finance the most. And believe me, just that will easily double the amount of money that you will have over your life. And just a little note about that, it's important to talk with everyone about money, but it doesn't mean that you have to listen to everything people tell you. You really have to critically understand what they say, because often people make errors and you have to learn from that. And so if you already managed to achieve these first 6 goals, you will be way above everyone else, above your friends and colleagues, and you will really be in the direction to have a bright financial future and never struggle with your money. But this last goal might be the most impactful, because by not reaching this goal, you will easily lose at least $1 million. And I'm kinda sure that you would like to have $1 million more in your bank account. And to be honest, it's not really difficult to achieve, because you have to do one action and repeat it every month. What is the action? Is to invest $300 per month in a Standard & Poor 500 ETF. Doing this will make you $1.6 million at the age of your retirement. But if you don't do it and you just start investing this money when you're 30, you will only have $600,000. And that is the power of compound interest, what Einstein called the eighth world wonder. And compound interest really has to become your best friend, because it is the only thing that can surely make you a millionaire. And this is why you have to start investing as soon as you can, because compound interest, even on small amounts, will make a huge difference over the time. So basically, invest as soon as you can and invest as much as you can, and you will always be fine with money in the future. So if you will manage to achieve all of these goals, you will have a position that few in the world have at 30. You will be able to live the life you want and never struggle with money. But now, how do you actually achieve these goals? Well, I've made a simple guide that tells you how to do it. So watch this video if you want to have more money. Thank you for watching and see you soon.